Hello everybody, it's the 21st of March today, and I'm looking at my Fusion Oak project. There is a playlist, as always, almost always, for most of my trees. There's a playlist detailing how it got here. If memory serves, this tree was created from 9 oaks grown from acorns, wrapped around a piece of wood, cone-shaped piece of wood. I'm not sure how many years ago now, a few years ago now. As they say, there is a playlist, so feel free to go back and look at that. We definitely have fusion at the top and fusion at the bottom, but if I give you a bit of a close-up, there's still not quite as much fusion in the centre of the trunk as I would have liked. As you can see, I can still identify 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 individual trees from this angle, and the same as we come around. But I don't think these trees are ever going to part. The wire that was holding them together has been quite nicely subsumed, and where it's left some wire scarring, I've started to carve away at the bark, and hopefully that'll scar over. I'm going to refresh some of that now, and will become less and less noticeable as time goes by. We shall see what we shall see. As long as I haven't got a dead straight line showing where the wire was, I shan't worry too much about it. I'm just cutting down a little. It's also eliminating a little bit of the swelling, which is desirable. I could feel with the knife then I was actually hitting a piece of wire, so I don't want to go much deeper. Big old lump there. Okay, so that's better. Where's Cooper? He's enjoying the slightly warmer weather, and he's found something interesting anyway. Just there. I have no idea what he thinks he's found. I could hear a pheasant in next door's garden a moment ago, and there are pigeons about, so possibly that. I'm going to repot this tree, and I had an urge to pot it into this rather nice black oval pot that I had, which I think would actually suit it quite nicely, but I'm not going to do that this year. What I'm going to do is introduce it into a shallower root run a bit more slowly. It's taken a long time to get to this stage, and I don't want to jeopardize it by doing too much too soon. What I am going to do is I'm going to repot it into a smaller pond planter than it is currently in, and give it a chance to get used to a slightly smaller root run, and then maybe it'll go into that pot next year. Before I touch the roots, I'm going to remove some of these lower branches that I've been using as sacrifice branches to build girth, and I'm going to chop this one back quite hard. I don't mind if I've got scars, because most oak trees have scars aplenty in a mature oak. So I'm just going to remove these. They were actually wired down to the pot. my way round. Okay, that's better. Take that back a little more. I can just get the cutters to cooperate and my hands to cooperate. Okay, I'm going to shorten this branch. In fact, no, I'm going to remove this branch as well. But other than that, a little bit of shortening on some of these. I'm going to keep most of the ramification that I have, except for where we've got really silly straight pieces like that, and a piece crossing over like so. Just shorten things back a little. That's better. A couple of little thin crossing branches. There, and there, and a piece of wire that's starting to cut in that needs to come off there. Okay. I think I'm in two minds about this piece. I think I am going to keep it, at least for now. I could always cut it off later, but I can't stick it back on again. Okay, so out with the turntable in with the potting tray, and let's see if we can pull this out. It hadn't rooted all the way to the bottom, but that's actually going to be helpful in terms of getting it into a shallower pot anyway, so I can probably reuse some of that soil, which is helpful due to the shortage of kitty litter, which seems to be everywhere. I've had several people ask me about it. And it seems to have sold out almost everywhere. Okay, so we'll start by getting rid of the moss and stuff on the top and seeing what surface roots we've got here. Use the nylon brush to get the last of that moss off the base of the trunk. Not the best surface roots, but an interesting nabari nonetheless. Okay, so I can actually expose a little more of the base of the trunk. Which is interesting in its own self. Certainly got some nice taper and such going on. Very happy with that. And actually by doing that I have some better roots all round. Okay, so I'm just going to work this lot back. I'd forgotten that was in there. I had put this drip tray underneath it to encourage the roots to spread out flatter rather than just going straight down, which maybe explains why it hadn't rooted so deeply in the pot. Okay, so I've combed out a lot of the roots. You can see I've got some big, thick, chunky roots that are going to have to come off So I'm going to use my old root cutters. They were just ordinary cutters until I left them out in the garden, and they rusted up. So I managed to free them up and make them usable again, but they're not really suitable for top work on trees, but they do make it much easier to pull out big chunky pieces of root like that. And when I say pull out, I of course mean cut off, and I don't have to worry about blunting them. Okay, so that's the thick stuff removed. Now that I'm actually getting the roots out, I'm beginning to think that this tree might, in actual fact, fit in that initial pot. Is it the right thing to do at this stage? Well, it might slow down the fusing somewhat, I guess. But in the long run, I don't think it will harm the tree health-wise. And as I said, the wires have been subsumed now. The tree's not going to fall apart. So I think it could actually work. The choice is a year in here, or a future in here. Well, I'm going to go with this. Life's too short sometimes. I think I'm going to need to remove a little more off the root ball on this side to ensure that I can get some fresh substrate and indeed some fertilizer, etc. in. Cut back that chunky root some more so that the tree can then sit flush. There are no tap roots as such, they were removed long ago in the process. And as I said, there is a playlist showing the creation of this. Okay, I'm more than happy that that's actually going to fit in there quite nicely. I'd actually have to take a little more off to try and get it into this air pot, and all I would gain was a little more depth, and because it hadn't rooted all the way down in the pot, in the original air pot, and has lots of fibrous roots, I'm thinking go for it, Sid. As I said earlier, life's too short sometimes. So let's clear this mess out and get the tree in the pot. Okay, so people say always assume that the video you're currently making is the first video of yours that someone's going to see. So at the risk of boring people who've seen these before, I'm using these discs that I bought on a well-known mail order online site. Begins with A, that I won't give any free publicity to, other than to say I think they're very good. They seem to work quite nicely. They come in a few different sizes, much easier than the sheets. Seems to have to cut to size and wire into place, and not as flimsy, so they're not going to buckle under the weight of the substrate, and seem to stay put, which is nice. So I'm going to put in a layer of substrate underneath. In the bright yellow bucket. As I said earlier, this is a mixture of cat litter and some organic material, usually some whatever peat-free compost I can get my hands on, and potting grit. And I've been using this for a few years now and it's worked well for me. Unfortunately, the cat litter seems to be almost entirely unavailable. I can't find it anywhere for love nor money. I believe I have enough left to do the trees that I want. I was able to buy a bag online a month ago, and that supplier doesn't have it anymore either. I think I've probably got the last bag. So I'm looking into an alternative which is used for oil spills, and if I find it and it's any good, I will let people know. I know a lot of people are having to go back to using Akadama, which is very expensive. Okay, so quite happy with the height, maybe a little more, just a touch, a millimetre or two. Yeah. Okay, let's put some controlled release fertilizer into the bottom of the pot, something for the tree to get its roots into. Fairly generous amount. And I'm just going to teeth that into the very surface. I don't want it at the bottom of the pot, otherwise any feed that leaches out of those granules will just drip straight out of the drainage hole. Not do the tree any good. Okay, so I'll tuck those roots down. I'm going to have to get a move on because I can see they're starting to dry out. Okay, using my new little pink tool, I can make sure that this gets down in between, making sure I'm getting good contact with all those roots, and then using a little scoop I can get in around where I only have a narrow gap twixt the root ball and the side of the pot. I think I'm going to remove that root. And this one, that's better. Well, it's a bit tidier. Okay. So there we have it. I'm happy with the placement and position. Let's give it some water. So there we have it. Wasn't what I originally planned to do today, but I'm happy that I've done it. Let's pop the drinks can in for scale and give you a quick 360. A dead piece there that I missed, and a live piece that's going to go back over this branch. I think I'll get rid of. Likewise, I'm going to shorten that back because I've removed a little bit more root than I Thought I was going to. But otherwise, yeah, I'm very happy. Almost very happy. There's always a bit more, isn't there? There we go. Nothing else left to say except please do all the usual YouTube things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting below. Most of all, please stay safe, everybody.